Well, news out this morning is the Nedbank Capital and Royal Bank of Scotland have joined up in a new equity research, sales and trading agreement. To tell us more, I'm joined from Nedbank Capital by Wynand van Zyl. He's the joint head of Institutional Equities. Wynand, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Stephen.
Wynand, how is this new venture going to work? Is it similar to the tie-ups we've seen in the past, such as the joint venture between RMB and Morgan Stanley or Standard Bank and Credit Suisse?
This is slightly different, Stephen. There's no exchange of shareholding, but we structured the transaction on exclusivity basis that we derive essentially the full benefits of being part of an international firm. So, for example, our research will be conducted on the RBS research platform. We will produce the reports on their platform. We will distribute the reports to the international clients through their platform, and will also be subject to their regulatory and compliance policies and procedures. So from a research perspective, it's a fully integrated basis, although there's no exchange of shareholding. And then in terms of the cross-border sales and distribution of the product, our teams will work together. So in a nutshell, no exchange of shareholding, but the exclusivity agreement allows us to, as Nedbank Capital, derive the full benefits, similar to what the other peers are doing in South Africa.
But now, will Nedbank Capital keep its own branding for all of its local clients?
We will co-brand the research in South Africa. It will be under the Nedbank banner, but there will be an RBS logo, and then offshore just the inverse, but co-branded for all intents and purposes.
Who's going to head up this joint venture? Will there be somebody heading up the new team?
No, we're doing it on a partnership basis. We've got a steering committee between Nedbank Capital and RBS Equities that will manage the business on a day-to-day basis.
How important is it for Nedbank to have this global reach? Because, of course, we have seen a huge amount of foreign interest in the JSE, particularly over the past year or two. And this is obviously two-way traffic. We're seeing local interest in global equities as well.
Yeah. Now, Stephen, that's a key question and key issue for us. I mean, more than 40% of trade on the JSE are by offshore firms, fund managers, and as a up to now domestic firm, that's what Nedbank Capital and Nedgroup Securities have been excluded from. So this is a key objective of this agreement, is for us through our domestic franchise with RBS to target offshore fund managers and then to meaningfully, in time, participate in that 40% trade on the JSE. So there's a strong financial incentive behind this transaction as well for us.
How about RBS's global reach? How extensive is that? Are we just talking about the United Kingdom and Europe? Does it go beyond all of that?
No, that's particularly appealing for us at Nedbank. They cover more than 1,100 stocks covering Europe, Asia, Australia, New Zealand. They're not in the Americas, bottom-up equity research, stock research, but literally for the rest of the world, they've got one of the most comprehensive coverages. And Nedbank will provide the sub-Saharan African component, which will include South Africa. So our product will become part of their overall global emerging markets product, or GEM product. Overall, for RBS, that is, allowing them to offer one of the most comprehensive GEM products out there. And we believe our domestic clients will also benefit as a result, and obviously also our own internal research standards and processes.
Okay, of course, all JSE orders from institutional RBS clients are going to be executed by Nedgroup Securities. Of course, that's your institutional stockbroker. So this should have some sort of impact on the revenue line.
Yes, we hope so. Presently, our offshore trading is not that substantial, and as I said earlier, targeting that 40% trade on the JSE is quite important for us with RBS, and that's where we see a huge business opportunity for us.
How are you going to split the proceeds that come through from this joint venture, if we can call it a joint venture?
That is part of the agreement, but it's a fairly equal split between the two parties. So it's a fairly standard arrangement on that basis. Fairly simple structure, etc.
Wynand, when does this start to take effect? Is it with immediate effect?
Stephen, today we'll be launching our first joint product today. South African strategy product called Picks and Puts. That's going out today, 200-page report to our clients in South Africa and overseas with RBS. And yeah, we kick the ball rolling today.
Of course, Wynand, we have been talking about the massive portfolio flows we've been seeing coming into South Africa from offshore investors. I mean, do you see South Africa remaining a preferred emerging market destination for offshore fund managers?
Firstly, globally, emerging markets globally are very much on the radar screen of fund managers due to the growth differential with developed market economies going forward as well. So yes, we're in the right neighborhood. South Africa specifically, unfortunately our growth is lagging that of other emerging market or the leading emerging market countries, and there one looks at India, China, and even some of the second tier ones. And in South Africa is also concerned about lack of investment into productive capacity. So although South Africa is not, shall I say, that attractive right now in terms of its emerging market peers, being part of the global emerging market environment really gives us a great inflow of investor interest and hence portfolio investments.